nice to have you here on stage with us. Tell us a little bit about, they got to know me a little bit yesterday. Tell us about you.
Well, first I have to call out that we're wearing the same color, which was, we did not text each other this morning. It just happened randomly. So I am Jeff Titterton. I'm CMO at Stripe, a company I've been working at it for about 3 years now, and it is an amazing company. I love working there, and we love partnering with BigCommerce. I've been in tech forever. I'm not allowed to say exactly how many years because they'd take me off the stage, but it's so wonderful to be here in this wonderful city.
Yeah, amazing. Tell me a little bit about Stripe. How many employees? How long have you been around?
We are about 9,000-ish employees and growing very quickly. We are a dual headquartered company. So we are headquartered in San Francisco, just south of San Francisco, in an area called Oyster Point, and then we are dual headquartered in Dublin. This comes from our history of our founders. When they were 18 and 20 years old, our Irish founders founded Stripe. That was 15 years ago. The company started out as 7 lines of code, so really easy online payments. And we have dramatically expanded from there. We offer a full platform of products that includes not only payments and a variety of advanced payment products that you can use globally in countries all over the world, but we also offer a revenue and finance automation suite, which enables you to collect and do taxes in more than 100 countries, a billing suite that is really powerful for basically testing any business model, and we have RevRec, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a variety of tools, and then of course we partner with businesses like BigCommerce with our platforms business that enable, millions and millions of companies all over the world to operate their business and make a lot of money.
Amazing. And
yes.
we love that you're a headline sponsor this year. We really appreciate the support and the partnership.
Great.
I would love to chat with you. The topic that we're about today is about AI. So let's start maybe with what's changing. AI has been evolving rapidly. What are you seeing in terms of how it's reshaping commerce?
Yeah, we're seeing this kind of like dramatic shift, really, and AI has exploded. I think that's no news. That's news to no news to anyone. And what we're seeing is this big shift from search to action. So for years, and really increasingly in the last year, AI has been really helping people to learn and summarize, right? So think about education, discovery, context for people, and that's been very powerful. But now AI is starting to help people do things, right? So a stat that we've been looking at, it's a pretty shocking stat, is 58% of consumers today have already replaced traditional search, SEO, search with generative AI for product and search discovery. 58%.
Wow.
So a couple of years ago, that would have been completely inconceivable. So we're seeing this really big shift. And more consumers are using AI to find products, to compare prices, and this is important, to make purchases. So this is the big shift we're seeing this year as we're moving from that search to action. So it's really increasingly about helping you buy.
Wow,
yeah.
That's amazing. Do you see that just in kind of the B2C side of the house?
Not at all. Sure, it's big and growing fast in B2C, and you can think about all the use cases in your daily life. That would be really awesome with AI if it could buy things on your behalf, right? Buy my groceries, buy whatever. But we're also seeing the same on the B2B side too. And at Stripe, we're a B2B company, right? So we sell to millions of B2B companies from tiny little SMBs and startups all the way up to huge enterprise. And within that, a lot of users come to stripe.com to sign up. And what we're seeing is 10% of our Stripe signups that usually come from organic search historically are now coming from LLMs. So that's been a huge shift. That was 1% a year ago, and it is growing dramatically faster than any other channel. So it's the channel none of us, as we're marketers, right? None of us were looking at a year ago. And now we have entire teams, we have LLM optimization teams, we have dashboards, we have analytics, and we're really studying this and saying, wow, this is crazy. How do we do more here? And what's happening is really simple, but it's also very profound. So first, buyers are switching their search and buying behavior themselves in response to the power of LLMs. And I think look at yourself, I guarantee almost all of you have some app on your phone that you're using every day, LLM app. And second, and very importantly, that buyer isn't always a person anymore. So sometimes it's actually software acting on their behalf. So that's what we're seeing as well. It's not just Copilot, but it's actually doing the actions on their behalf. And I know you all, Michelle, have a lot of B2B customers.
We do.
So what are some of the trends what you're seeing here? How is it impacting your business?
I would say the same sorts of trends are occurring in that B2B space, especially in how buyers from B2B are discovering and evaluating products. everybody, of course, as you said, is going to these ChatGPT, Perplexity, and AI is influencing even the earliest stages of the journey now. Instead of searching a site or contacting a sales rep, they are turning to AI to scan catalogs and compare specs and surface recommendations. So that means to our B2B customers, of course, the product data, the content, and the pricing needs to be structured and accessible, not just for people, but also for the systems that are parsing
Totally.
that data at large.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, it's a big departure from the traditional online shopping flow.
Yeah.
What do you think is enabling that shift?
I'd say sort of two things like at the heart of it is first is context. So as AI technology is rapidly evolving and improving, and we've never seen this kind of pace of technological innovation, right? You can just see every one of the big AI providers is launching new versions very regularly. We're seeing that AI agents are getting better and better at understanding what users want. So that context for users, and that's kind of twofold, right? It's context for the user because the technology itself is getting better at interpreting the prompts, and then users themselves are getting better at prompting, right? We're all getting educated about how to prompt the LLMs, and we're becoming more expert at it. And so this is like a virtuous circle that's really helping make this AI more powerful. And then second, because of this, users are getting more comfortable letting agents act on their behalf. And so this is where we're moving from that search and education to action like purchase. And there's this kind of thing out there that's been out there forever, which is humans don't like interacting with bots, right? And I think this comes from this old world where, we used to get caught in phone trees. Like that was the worst back in the day, we all were, right? And we'd be caught and we'd be cursing the bot because the bot was actually trying to prevent us from talking to a human. Well, that's not a helpful bot, right? But now we're in a place where the bots, the agents, are actually incredibly helpful. And that's really powering like just a big shift in how people are thinking. So a fun example to make it real, because this is still pretty early, it's not like it's everywhere buying with agents, but we are starting to see it show up, is this barista agent. Okay, so this is a coffee sourcing bot. And I'm a coffee drinker. I love coffee, and it's a consumable, right? So I buy it regularly. So it learns of coffee bot. What it does is it learns what beans you like. It finds the best suppliers, and then it just buys it for you, right? So this does all this work on your behalf. And in the background, Stripe provides a virtual card, which has built-in controls, which is great because then the buyer's data is safe, right? It's not like their data's out there, YOLOing it. And the merchant gets paid immediately. So it's fun, right? It's a fun use case, but it's also really efficient because a lot of us buy coffee regularly. You can kind of see how this thing will become more regular for users over time.
Yeah, my sense was that it was really theoretical, but what you're saying is it's happening now already.
Yeah, so it is. It's early, right? I mean, we need to acknowledge it's early, but it's happening fast. And then it's also just unevenly distributed. So we kind of look across all the industries because we work with people across all industries, companies across all industries. And what we see is that agents are assisting with things like online subscription management. And that's a more common use case we're seeing. It kind of makes sense, right? It's a little bit easier. You're not getting into products being sent out. It's not as big, hard to do. But then we have some fun online meets offline examples like campsite booking. So there's now a bot that will actually book your campsite on your behalf, right? So that's online to offline. That's pretty fun. One of our users, 11 Labs, which is, for those who don't know, it's an amazing AI voice company out of Europe, really cool company, lets voice agents now manage subscriptions and refunds on users' behalf, right? So AI agents are doing things for those users. And then, of course, Perplexity, which is doing a lot here, the AI-powered answer engine, they're orchestrating in situ commerce with Stripe. What that means is they're enabling users to buy products that they find through Perplexity and even book hotels directly within chat without leaving. So it is all happening, and it's accelerating. So we're working at Stripe, we're co-building and working with a variety of other users to build some really exciting AI-enabled products like this. The surface area of commerce, it's like expanding massively. So it's like very, very exciting. It's really amazing. Now, I think you're doing a bunch here as well across your multiple brands, so BigCommerce and Feedonomics,
Right.
which is cool. Yeah. You want to tell? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So we've signed multiple agreements with new partners. Perplexity is a really good example, like you had just mentioned. As consumers are turning to these AI platforms for answers and product recommendations, it's critical for these businesses that they show up in those search moments. And together with Feedonomics in particular, we're enabling merchants to deliver clean, structured and enriched product data to these platforms that gives AI engines all of the answers that they need. So it's not just SEO, it's AI-driven kind of discovery, and it's already starting to impact how and where commerce happens. For brands, it's not about optimizing just their storefront, it's about showing up wherever the shopper or their AI agent is looking.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important that you're structuring your data properly to enable the LLMs, right?
Yeah,
That's huge.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you doing at Stripe to enable this new era of buying?
We're doing a lot, honestly. We're putting like our very best and brightest on this because we think it's such a huge trend. And what we're doing is we build infrastructure. We're a financial infrastructure company, right? So we're building infrastructure for this commerce shift. And we call it, and everyone's starting to call it, agentic commerce, right? That's the term that's kind of taking hold. And it's this new model, as I said, where agents can discover, evaluate, and then complete purchases on behalf of users. So earlier this year, we actually launched a toolkit for developers to build and monetize agents themselves. And that's been very popular. We have a lot of developers who build on Stripe, and so that's been a big win. And some of the things I talked about earlier are happening with those toolkits. Then at Sessions, which is our version of this, our global conference in San Francisco, we launched a new API that allows agents to initiate purchases on behalf of a customer anywhere on the internet. And that's super powerful, right? Again, think of that barista example. It is out there being able to do stuff, which is hugely powerful for merchants if you think about it. Your products can be everywhere and can be searched. So an example that we are looking at, or something I can talk about here, is a beauty blog, right? So this is an example that'll make a lot of sense to most people who read on the internet, which we all do. So let's say you're browsing a beauty blog, learning around the latest products, right? As one does. I am sadly not very good at that, but I know many people who are. So that blog site can use these APIs to allow you to purchase the different products you're reading about, all from different merchants, without ever leaving that page. So it's a one-click purchase. You might be using something like Stripe's one-click link one-click wallet, right, which enables you to purchase very quickly, keeps your details safe, and enables that purchase to happen using those APIs. And you got to sort of think about how this is so different from how things have been traditionally. Traditionally is still happening right now, just to be clear. Traditionally, what you have is you have a beauty blog, you have that cool face cream that the person wants, you click it, you have to go to another browser window. Yeah, exactly. You have to go to another browser window to fill out a form, to buy, et cetera. So it's sort of an inefficient workflow. So in this new world, it's kind of a win-win-win for all the players in this. So for the consumer, it's great because I'm reading this beauty blog. I want to keep going. I want to see what else there is. And I click that, and I can do the one-click purchase. It's in my cart, and it's on its way, but then I can keep reading. So it's a frictionless experience for me. For the merchant, it's really great because it's more distribution, right? There's a slight negative. They don't come to your website, but does that really matter? No, because you're going to get more purchases because you have this one-click purchase and you're more discoverable across the web, which is really awesome. And then it's great for these content producers, these publishers, because this is more monetization for them, right, with affiliate links, et cetera. And they also get the benefit that the user stays there. So it's win-win-win. It's great.
Yeah, amazing. So in a world where AI agents are making more buying decisions, scary or not, what happens to the brand? Does that still matter?
I'm a marketer, so I'm required to say this, but I actually happen to believe it, which is absolutely the brand still matters. And in fact, I think it matters almost even more. So the brand is incredibly important in agentic commerce because if you're a buyer and you're delegating a task to an agent, you're saying, hey, go buy me these noise-canceling headphones, and I want them under $300, and I want them to have these attributes. That agent is making decisions on your behalf, right? And so those decisions are going to be shaped by everything from the product data you talked about. If the product data is not set up properly, not going to happen. You're not going to show up. So you need that product data. But it's also going to be shaped by your reputation, your brand's reputation, and it's going to be shaped by buyer preferences. Both of those are heavily influenced by brand, right? And brands actually mattered in SEO back, as well, because if you have a poor reputation, Google figures it out and you do not show up as much, right? So we need to continue to obsess about reputation and also enable the technology to see that we have a good reputation. So your brand isn't just showing up in the browser's tabs, it's influencing the algorithms and it's influencing the agents themselves. So this means businesses need to think just not about how to market to people, but how they make their products visible, understandable, and really preferred in agentic channels. So it's a whole new challenge. So preferred brands that invest in themselves and their brand are going to do better. Brand trust, brand preference, all of that's going to become just incredibly powerful here. And at Stripe, we're really focused on how do we build this infrastructure to enable all that, to help the brand show up where it matters, do the technology to help them show up their very best.
Yeah. Where do you think you're headed next as Stripe, as a company? What should business leaders here in this room be looking for from you?
So it's all still pretty early, right? Like what we talked about, none of this is like the norm yet, but it's quickly going to become the norm. So get ready for it and be prepared for it. I think the direction is really clear. So AI agents are moving from being these helpful co-pilots. They sit next to you and you're, typing along and asking them questions, to they're becoming real participants in commerce. So that shift from search to action that I talked about at the beginning here, it's going to change how people and businesses are buying, evaluating, discovering, et cetera, and buying. So what we're going to see here and what we're preparing for is commerce is going to be happening in places that don't look like stores. We already went from offline to online, right? And people, their minds were blown and now it's completely normal and they're used to it and they wouldn't think about not buying things online. Now we're going to move to buying in chat windows, messaging app windows, email threads. I saw a great example of this where it's, an AI agent is going back and forth with the user and then purchasing directly within the email thread. Like that's pretty awesome. Dev environments in B2B are a place where we see developers sending their agents out into the world to buy from other B2B software companies and then install that software and use it in their build, which is awesome. That's already happening. And then even in places like your calendar. So buying surface is going to explode, right? And that's going to be super interesting for all of us to figure out. So we're also going to see like more businesses. It's not going to go, consumer has led, but business is catching up. So we're going to see a lot happen there as well, handling a lot of routine buying and operations decisions. Obviously, there's a ton of buying in B2B and very complicated buying. That means the infrastructure has to evolve. So this is what we're focusing on, to support that trust, to support that control, and to support flexibility across all those services. You can do it, you can look in your brain, it's like, wow, that is really, really complicated. Fraud is an incredibly important thing for us to think about here. And Stripe has very strong fraud products. Our Radar products are, I'd say among the very best in the industry. That's my personal opinion. And I think we have a lot of data to show that. And that is incredibly important in this world as well. So for all of you out there who are business leaders and thinking about this is a chance to prepare early, right? I think it's happening now, but the future is coming very, very quickly. Yes. So if we're here a year from now, it'll be a very different landscape, I think. I think we're going to see this as a more new normal, and we wouldn't just be talking about what's happening, but we'd all be experiencing it. So you have to think about how your brand is going to show up in agentic channels, how you're going to enable purchases beyond your website. You should actually start to track this. Like we're even seeing it's showing up in places we didn't even see in our own data, and how you build trust at every transaction. So especially when there's no human at the keyboard, that's like a whole different world, right? You're not just getting a person through a funnel, now you're getting an agent through a funnel. So I think, my opinion, early movers are going to be winners here because it's a wide open field, run toward it. Late movers are going to regret it because it's going to be a huge opportunity that they are going to play catch up on.
Yeah, well, we've been talking a lot about very future-leaning ideas and concepts. What is Stripe doing next to help businesses make the most out of this shift to the future?
I mean, we're really focused on, Stripe tends to build for the long term, but here we're also building for the short term as well. And the reason that is the short term is moving so very quickly, right? So we're always very focused on creating this infrastructure that enables our partners like BigCommerce to do great work on behalf of their users and also for our relationship with, direct users. So this means making it easy for your agents to discover your products, easy for buyers to pay using their saved methods. And, I mentioned Link before, but this is our one-click payment option, this wallet, and that's a very powerful thing within this world. Most of the very top AI companies are using Link already, so it's already sort of endemic to their worlds, and so we're investing heavily there. And then easy for you to control how these transactions happen, even if they're initiated somewhere totally new. I talked about this, but we started with this toolkit for developers to build and monetize agents. We then launched new APIs this spring for agent-led checkouts. Now what we're doing is we're actually partnering with the leading AI companies. We have the benefit at Stripe that the vast majority of the AI companies, the leading AI companies, use Stripe to monetize. So they're already users of ours, and we partner with them heavily. So we're actually co-building a lot with them around how do we bring this agent-led commerce and make it real into real-world buying flows. So, there's a lot more coming. Check the news, of course. Like, there's a ton more, really. And we're really excited about building this. And I think it's both the AI companies and then it's companies like BigCommerce, because you're great partners and you work with many, many, many different merchants out there. So this is a great partnership to make it real in their worlds as well.
Yay. Well, thank you so much. Will all of these amazing things that we've talked about work within Stripe's broader platform?
They'd better, yeah. That would be bad if they didn't. Yes, no, indeed. Of course, they're going to. Yeah, so we're building this agentic commerce future into our broader financial infrastructure program, right? Platform, excuse me. So all the benefits that we offer merchants today will integrate here, and it will continue. This includes like global country coverage and local payment availability. We've been rapidly adding local payment methods to benefit merchants as they go cross-border. There's not that many companies out there that are selling only within one country at this point. Everyone wants to be cross-border. It's a specialty of Stripe's to help you go cross-border and help you with that having local payment methods. We also have a product within that called adaptive pricing for cross-border transactions. Adaptive pricing is really cool. It dynamically displays prices in a local customer's currency during checkout. This sounds like maybe, oh, that's so obvious. Not so obvious, and turns out it's a huge win, right? It's a huge win for the customer because, of course, who wants to see the price in the wrong currency? But to have this dynamically show up, it's a huge win for merchants because they don't have to deal with all the code to do that, and it's a really great win for conversion. So that kind of global story is really important for us. We will continue to build there. I spend my life in many different countries because we care so much about global. It also means we're going to continue to focus on optimized checkout to maximize conversion. So we have an optimized checkout suite, as you know. It includes Link, which I talked about, this one-click checkout. And what we see here is we really want to make it just as frictionless as possible for users to check out and to dynamically surface the right information to help them check out, depending on who they are and where they are. This will play very well into the agentic commerce work we're doing. And then I mentioned this, but like all of that surround on payments. So, we do a ton with payments and the surround around payments, but we also offer a lot of tools that help businesses run at scale, like our tax tool, so you can account for and collect tax in more than 100 countries, our subscriptions products that help you test business models, and that's, invoicing, subscriptions, all sorts of things. Usage-based billing is our new thing we're really focused on because many of the AI companies are charging usage-based, which is a huge shift from SaaS. So we're seeing a big shift there. And then things like revenue recognition, which your finance teams will love because they can account for the revenue without having to do it all themselves. So all that is going to work very nicely alongside this. So leveraging Stripe with BigCommerce, so we're going to work together on this. We're very excited about it, and we think it's going to be a great future.
Awesome. Well, I've enjoyed having this conversation. I feel like Stripe has all of the modern conveniences covered and is very forward-looking in the way the company is considering AI and all of the implications of agentic search.
Yeah.
We're just so thrilled to be your partner.
Thank you.
And to have you here.
It's a super exciting time in commerce, honestly. And who would have thought how quickly it came about, right? It's been a huge shift. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting.
Well, I look forward to having this same conversation next year, and who knows what it'll be about.
Maybe it'll be two bots sitting up there talking. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us.
All right.